We're now joined by Sunil Gavaskar live from Pune. Sunil, we all understand that the pitch wasn't easy to bat on, but even just looking at the way the Indian batsmen were dismissed, the technique of the Indian batsmen looked grossly inadequate to tackle such seam and swing.
Well, I think there was a bit of a hangover of playing in Australia, where you play a little bit on the up, don't really lean into the drive, which is what was needed on a surface like this. I don't think it was an impossible pitch to bat on. I think there was just a little bit of movement, which is what you would get even on a grassless pitch, particularly when you play at 7:30 in the evening. The dew will make the ball move around just a little bit. But I just thought that maybe they should have been playing with, instead of playing upright as they do in Australia and South Africa, maybe leaning closer to the ball. That would have helped. And then there were a couple of shots which were really not necessary for the stage that the Indian team was in. And, then there was no partnership. So really everything going wrong for the Indian team.
Right, Saima, you talk about the shot selection as well. You spoke about the technique. We heard from MS Dhoni as well. The skipper also not too happy with the way some of the batsmen got out.
Well, yes, I think so. I think if you see, India had lost 2 wickets in the first over, and then Shikhar Dhawan got out trying to play a hoik for a 6. When in the same over you'd had Suresh Raina hitting a 6 and a boundary. So there were enough runs scored in that over. And what India really needed to do was to think about the fact that this new attack of Sri Lanka, they hadn't really seen it. You might see videos, but then when you're playing them for the first time, it's just that little bit difficult. And that these guys were bowling well, and they were pitching the ball on a good length, getting the ball to move around. So maybe a little bit of caution was called for, particularly after India lost their first 2 wickets in the first over. And maybe, given the bowlers just that little bit more respect, then they could have possibly got maybe even 30-40 runs, which could have made the difference.
Right, Saima, we're so accustomed to watching the Indian top order perform so well in recent times. Today they've failed, but that was also a great opportunity for the middle order to do well. They couldn't do that. Doesn't that then give fodder to people that believe that Indian batting is only about the top order?
Well, it certainly is. I think it's a top order, which is your best batting lineup. The top 4 batsmen are your best batsmen. And down the order after that, 5 and 6 and 7 are the ones who in this format of the game are there to take advantage of the kind of start that the top 3 or 4 have given and just throw their bats and try and get maybe 10, 12 runs and over. That is their job, and I think that is what they're very, very good at. But here they didn't get that start. They didn't get that partnership. So I think the pressure on the batting order down was a little too intense, because grafting for runs is not their strength. Banging the ball away is their strength. But they came into a position where they had to graft around just that little bit before they opened their shoulders and played the big shots.
Okay, the other thing one noticed during the game, Sahibai, are the first 6 overs, Nehra and Bumrah bowling. Sri Lanka couldn't score more than 4 runs and over. 2 wickets were down quickly. One would have imagined that MS Dhoni would have continued, if not immediately the 4th over to both Bumrah and Nehra. Maybe after a gap of 2 or 3 overs, he would have brought his best bowlers back. By the time he got Bumrah, Nehra of course got 1 over left. By the time he got Bumrah, the game was all over. Would it have been better had Dhoni got these 2 a bit earlier?
Yes, I think he got his calculations wrong there, because clearly this was not going to be a 20-over game as far as the Sri Lankan batting was concerned, because if they were going to bat for 20 overs, they were surely going to win the match. Chasing little over 100 in 20 overs is very easy. The only way that India was going to win the match was to dismiss Sri Lanka. Therefore, the best bowlers should have been bowled, which meant that Bumrah, Nehra, Ashwin, your 3 main bowlers should have been bowled. But then, that happens sometimes, by the time you realize it, the game has gone away from you. So basically, my honest advice is, now that it's a very, very good wake-up call for the Indians, having seen what the Sri Lankans can do, I think they'll be better prepared. They better be better prepared for the remaining 2 matches.